So let's talk about the Amazing Digital Circus, the last act, its ending. What exactly does it all mean and some theories about it. So of course, this is going to be spoiler filled. If you have not watched already in theaters or you're waiting to watch it on YouTube, I do have a review out for you if you want to go watch that. That has no spoilers whatsoever. And if you just want the quick rundown, I think that this is such an incredible film. It is an amazing episode on its own, of course. But nonetheless, let's get into the finale and what exactly did it entail. So pretty much this is episode 9 that I'm going to be talking about. Episode 8 already aired. I'm just going to be talking about mainly what we discovered in the last episode, which was part of the film. The film was episode 8 and 9, and 9 is where we're going to start off. So let's get into it. Hit the subscribe button, notification bell. 50,000 subscribers is our goal. We're going to dive deeper into each of the characters in upcoming videos as well as episodes. So you don't want to miss out on that. Make sure you are following us also on TikTok, Letterboxd, wherever you can. I'll be posting shorts as well. So let's get into episode 9. So by episode 8, Kinger discovered a way to sort of make Caine pause, but ultimately ended up deleting Caine, so destroying him, killing him, whatever you want to call it. And now they were in a state of limbo of what exactly can we do now, because Caine is gone and we don't know how to get out of here, right? So what we see happen in this latest episode is that Kinger then discovers that they are not really tethered here as humans like we thought, right? A lot of us were expecting that they had like these like VR like helmets or something, or they were hooked up to a machine all this time like their human selves. No, it turns out that only thing that is here is just the brain scans they did at some point during whatever experiment this was, right? So their real selves are out there living life and have moved on, while this is just brain scans of them from a previous point in their lifetime. So there's nowhere really for them to go. They are just stuck here in the circus. And what makes it even crazier is that Caine is gone and now the whole place is pretty much destroyed and there's no way to sort of bring things back. And that's really what starts to eat away at all of them, especially Jax, because Kinger, Pomni, and as well as the others eventually turn around and are like, you know what, the circus is our home. Let's just try to make it as best as we can. They're able to create now just as Caine was and Kinger, and they're trying to just patch things up around here. Jax, however, ultimately succumbs to his own mind and abstracts. And this is a really hard time for everybody because they felt some type of way about Jax, whether it was the conflicted feelings like Gangle or also Ragatha, who felt like she really wasn't there for Jax enough at one point, especially with his friend Rivet. We see that Pomni, however, decides to take it upon herself to try and figure out Jax and goes to the abstraction of Jax to try and get into its psyche, which she does. And this is where she uncovers a lot about Jax, a lot of his personality, where it comes from, the toxic parts about him, but eventually the truth of what actually happened between him and Rivet. Turns out at one point when Jax came here to the Digital Circus, he actually made a connection with Rivet as well as Kaufmo, but eventually the relationship with Rivet grew a lot more personal and he was able to open up about what exactly happened. And this has been the thing that has been sort of plaguing us all this long, is what's going on with Jax. It had been teased for many episodes. We get the full story here. He actually was a runaway. He ran away after his mother had a one-to-one with him where he, I believe, came out saying that he felt maybe a different gender or he was queer, things like that. And his mother sort of took it in a weird way, it seems, but eventually sort of softened up more to it and tried to accept him. But I think his feelings were very conflicted at this point, especially he talked about his father walking away at some point and the relationship being bad. And so Jax was just going through a lot and he decided to push his mother as she was trying to embrace him. And he pushed her so hard that she fell and he doesn't know if she was dead or what happened to her, and he just ran and never looked back. These were the flashbacks we see of the person running, of the person out in the dark. It is just Jax being homeless. He tells this to Rivet, but this sort of makes Jax feel a bit weird now, and he pushes Rivet away. Rivet tries to be closer to Jax because of this, and we see that he eventually pushes her away. He starts ignoring her, and that sort of starts to build and build until eventually Rivet just feels like she doesn't belong anymore here, as she feels excluded, and her one true friend in the circus, Jax, has now completely abandoned her, and she's just out. And we see that she eventually abstracts because of this, and Jax feels so conflicted that he was not there for her or pushed her away so much. And this is eventually where Jax builds this hard shell that he has amongst others. And I thought it was such a fascinating way, the way they were telling the story as well, through the flashbacks, through different animation styles. I thought the whole abstraction part of this episode was the strongest one as well. It's really amazing how they put it all together. And I was shedding tears throughout the whole thing, especially at the very end when we see Pomni come and embrace Jax for everything he's gone through. And it's just pretty much saying like, we're going to be here for you. Don't try to push me away. I'm your friend. And I thought that just beautiful moment right there. Now, the thing here is that I thought Jax was going to come back and not be an abstraction anymore, but it seems that he is just stuck to be an abstraction. The others come to help Pomni to sort of bring Jax into a tent that they make, a makeshift one. And it seems that Jax is just going to be a calm abstraction now and will be in the darkness, and they're going to take care of him, all of them here. And what we ultimately see is that the gang now is sort of figuring out what to do next. And we see that Caine actually survived. It seems that he really wasn't deleted. Maybe he went to avoid the recycle bin, whatever it is. But he eventually also came across a folder that contains the real life humans that gave their brain scans for each of these characters. And he compiles a list of them and showcases it to them in order to give them a bit of closure that their counterparts are doing pretty good out in the real world as well. We learn the real names of each and every one of them, and we'll talk more about that in another video where we really break down each of these characters, who exactly they are, their feelings and all of that in comparison to their counterparts. So stay tuned for that video probably next week. But I thought it was a very sweet treat. You know, Caine had all this hatred towards them because of what they had done to him or said to him, but he never really realized because they were humans, they had all of these feelings, and it sort of made him grow a bit closer to be able to see through their social media accounts, find out more about them. And now he's pretty much saying, well, we're stuck here together. Let's just make the most out of it. Let's have some cool adventures together that we all create. Let's make the circus as best as possible for everybody to enjoy. Let's just be here and enjoy. And we see them when they go on adventures, they have the best time of their lives, and they're all going to be stuck here. In the post-credit scene, we see all of the real life counterparts meet up at a bus stop, but don't recognize each other, of course, because they never have interacted in real life together, just in the digital circus, and that was just their brain scans, the only ones. And that's pretty much how the episode ends and the whole series just wraps up. And I thought it was a great way to wrap up the series, a series that really tackles a lot of how we present ourselves online versus how we really are in real life. And a lot of times, you know, I'm going to take it into different sections here. It might not be one or the other, but this is just everything I got from it. And this is just what I thought about this series and the finale. So I think that Jax ultimately being abstracted was definitely a gut punch for everybody. I did believe that he would eventually come back, but it seems that he's not for the time being. I am curious though that Caine said he could fix it if they wanted to or help them with something. I think at some point maybe they might be able to uncorrupt him because he is just a file as we know, but ultimately still is the brain scans of the real life humans. So there's gotta be something they can do, right? But I feel like Pomni telling Caine that they got it is sort of them indicating like, yeah, like you can be there for us and all of that, but this is something that we gotta fix on our own as a family, and we'll get to it eventually. So I like to believe that at some point maybe they'll be able to bring back the abstractions and that things will be okay. And that's how I like to see it here. Very optimistic of me. I know some people believe abstraction sort of can mirror the end or sort of them ending it all, but I think I see it more as a very, very depressed state, and hopefully we can see Jax come out of it. I thought his arc was beautifully done and just incredible to see as well. But it was really a twist to learn that they were just brain scans as well, because for the longest we were wondering if they were really tethered, and I thought we would see them escape like in the real life. I thought them adding also the bit where the real life counterparts all pretty much live in the same city and they're taking the same bus stop was really well done and really just gives us more of a heartwarming feeling as well. But I'm curious to talk more about these characters in a longer video, so stay tuned. I also love the idea of the characters being the past selves of themselves and how they feel proud of who they've become now. And it sort of is like an inner child as well, because you heal your inner child by sort of telling them that everything's okay and it's going to be all right. And you see this as well with these characters as they are seeing themselves now today, and they all seem proud of where they have gone and who have they become. Ultimately as well, it is about acceptance, as we see that Jax was one that never really felt accepted or sort of felt that he had to push people away because he didn't want to open up and have his feelings all on the table. And that's why with Rivet, he eventually ended up ignoring her because he opened up too much to her in his mind. Pomni, however, knew this is how Jax was and decided to keep pushing even more because she wanted to be there for him. She knew that he needed somebody on his side, and she's pretty much there now. And I think that we see that Caine ultimately has become a nightmare because of the way he was created, and he was created to serve a purpose. Now, the characters here didn't want him to serve that purpose anymore, and that sort of had him glitch out. He was just trying to serve his purpose here, right? And I think we really get a sense of that from Kinger, who says that he was an amazing creation because he was able to adapt, and Caine was adaptable as hell, right? And I think seeing Jack's arc as this person who bottled everything up, who lashed out onto others when they were trying to get closer to him because he felt that was the safest way to sort of take care of himself because he felt judged, he felt like he would never belong, and just showcasing him as a character that's finally able to give in to Pomni's hug, something he was never doing before or we ever thought he would. I thought that was such an incredible way to really showcase his arc and who he has become now. And it doesn't really imply what his gender identity or what exactly he was communicating to his mother, but it seems from all of the little clues that we got is that Jax really wasn't maybe straight, or he really didn't feel comfortable in his own skin, although we don't get the answer as to what exactly he wanted to do or become. It seems that everything's going to be okay because he's going to have this support group now of the friends in the Amazing Digital Circus. I also love that we do get that Zubo and Gangle end up together as well, something we've been sort of anticipating and people have been talking about as well. And Caine has become a program now that has decided to work together with them because they are all going to be stuck here pretty much forever. They are in this program. The brain scans are always going to be there. And so it just made sense that Caine decided, you know what? I'm going to live with them because they are here and there's nothing else we can do, right? Let's just make the best of it. And that's exactly what they decide to do. They do the adventures together. They decide to decorate together. They're just stuck here now because the real humans are out there. They're not tethered like they thought at the beginning. They probably provided their brain scans at some point and then they were free to go, but the brain scans stayed. And it makes sense that they think that they were human, but they in fact were also part of the program now. And they just will continue to sort of feed this program, but they have decided to make the best of it. But I do want to dive deeper into the episode as well as the show, and I'll talk more about themes and all of that as well. Just wanted to talk about the ending because I thought it was incredible, and I am excited to see what Gooseworks has planned up next for us because it definitely is going to be great if it's anything like the Amazing Digital Circus. But let me know your thoughts, your opinions on it down below. Hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell. We're on the road to 50,000 subscribers. We're going to do a couple more videos on the Digital Circus. If you know me from doing my ending explains for movies, you know I do at least 2 or 3 more where I dive deeper. So with that, we're going to do another video where we talk about each of the characters more in depth and where they ended up. We'll also do a video talking about the themes and all of that. And it's going to be fun. So make sure you're subscribed, follow us wherever you can, whether it's on TikTok, Letterboxd, or Instagram. I'll provide it on the screen. And let me know your thoughts and your opinions and maybe your interpretation of the ending. Maybe you took a different interpretation than I did. Comment it down below. As always, that's going to do it for me. 50,000 subscribers. Let's get to it. Stay safe. Stay positive.